Biology Part 129. Integrity of species. Isolating mechanism. Where our tutorial were concerned with explaining the appearance of new species, it is less obvious but equally important to ask how existing species are kept separate and distinct from each other. Hundreds of different species live side by side in any habitat. Why is it that the individual members of these species normally breed with other members of the same species and not with the members of different species? Investigations of natural communities show that species identity is almost always maintained by one or more isolating mechanisms. These are defined as biological properties of individuals which prevent successful interbreeding with the members of different species. You must appreciate from the outset of the isolating mechanism are relevant only for the species capable of inhabiting the same area. It is unfortunate that the term isolation is used to refer to two quite different types of separation, namely the reproductive isolation and geographical isolation. The important distinctions can be explained with the aid of a figure that we have in the charts, and there are stages in the evolution of new species. As we can see, a single original population divided by a natural barrier gives rise to two separated populations which are free to evolve differently. When the barrier is removed, the outcome depends upon how far two populations have diverged. Initially, interbreeding is very likely to occur. If the populations have remained similar and the hybrids are viable and successful as well as fertile, then populations will fuse and accumulate differences between them, and the differences between them will be lost. On the other hand, following a long period of separation, it is more probable that the differences will be considerable and that hybrid forms will be at a disadvantage compared with either the parent population. In these circumstances, there will be strong selection in favor of any characteristics which reduces breeding between the populations, making it more likely that the individuals will breed with their own kind. These characteristics will be rapidly improved by natural selection and will become the isolating mechanism which keep the population distinct. Reproductively isolated in this way, the two populations are now separate species, each able to keep its own particular adaptations. Premating mechanism. A summary classification of isolating mechanism is given in the table. Premating mechanisms are those which act to prevent crosses between the individuals from different species before the transfer of the gametes. They are favored by the natural selection because they prevent wastage of gametes. The premating mechanism describes the behavioral isolation. Courtship behavior ensures mating with members of the same species. Seasonal isolation. Mating seasons do not overlap. Habitat isolation. Habitat preferences keep members of the different species apart. Mechanical isolation. The physical structures of organisms prevent successful transfer of gametes from individuals of different species. Post-mating mechanism. Prevention of fertilization. Gametes transfer takes place, but there is no fertilization. Number 2, hybrid inviability. Hybrid organisms die to survive poorly in the competition with the parental types. Hybrid infertility. Hybrid organisms may be vigorous but do not produce functional gametes. Hybrid breakdown. First generation hybrids are viable and fertile, but the later generations are not so.